Imagine hearing a thunderous roar in the distance, the ground shaking beneath your feet, and a giant iron machine racing across the land faster than any horse alive. The world had never seen anything like it, and nothing would ever be the same again. For most of human history, distance was a prison. Cities felt far apart, even when they were only a few dozen miles away. Travel was slow, exhausting, and dangerous. If you wanted to move goods, you used horses, wagons, or boats along rivers. A journey that takes hours today once took days, even weeks. Entire regions of the world remained isolated simply because there was no fast way to connect them. But in the early 1800s, a new invention began to change everything. An invention born from coal, iron, steam, and human ambition. That invention was the train. To understand why trains were invented, we have to step into the chaos of the Industrial Revolution. Factories were rising. Cities were growing. Coal mines were digging deeper into the earth. Iron production was exploding. But there was one massive problem: moving heavy materials. Coal was the fuel of the industrial age. It powered factories, heated homes, and drove steam engines. But coal mines were often far from cities and ports. Transporting tons of coal by horse and wagon was painfully slow and incredibly expensive. Roads were muddy, rough, and unreliable. Horses got tired. Wagons broke down. Costs were high, and industries were desperate for a better solution. At first, the answer came in a simple form: wooden rails. In mining areas, workers laid wooden tracks so carts could roll more smoothly. A wagon on rails needed far less effort to pull than one on dirt. Horses could haul heavier loads with less strain. This small idea, guiding wheels along a fixed path, was the seed that would grow into railways, but would wore out quickly. So engineers replaced wooden rails with iron. Then came a bigger leap. What if instead of horses, a machine could pull the load? This is where steam power entered the story. Steam engines had already begun powering factory machines. The basic idea was simple: heat water, create steam, and use the pressure to move pistons. But inventors wondered, could this power move vehicles too? In the early 1800s, British engineer Richard Trevithick built one of the first steam-powered locomotives. It was loud, heavy, and imperfect, but it proved something incredible. A steam engine could move on rails without horses. Still, early locomotives had problems. They were bulky and often broke the tracks beneath them. Many people believed smooth iron wheels could never grip smooth iron rails. Critics laughed at the idea of steam engines pulling heavy loads at speed. Then came George Stephenson. Stephenson was not born rich or highly educated. He worked in coal mines and understood the transportation problem firsthand. Through years of experimentation, he improved locomotive design, making engines stronger, more reliable, and better suited for rail travel. In 1825, Stephenson's locomotive pulled the first public railway train on the Stockton and Darlington Railway in England. Crowds gathered in disbelief as the iron machine puffed smoke and steam, hauling coal and passengers faster than most horses could run. It was a turning point in human history. But the rail revolution came a few years later in 1830 with the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, the first fully operational passenger and freight railway between two major cities. Stephenson's famous locomotive, the Rocket, showed the world that trains were not just possible, they were the future. Suddenly, distance began to shrink. A trip that once took a full day by horse could now be done in a couple of hours. Goods moved faster and cheaper than ever before. Food reached cities before it spoiled. Factories received raw materials more efficiently. Businesses expanded. Trade exploded. Trains were invented to solve an industrial transport problem, but they ended up transforming society itself. Cities connected like never before. People could travel for work, for trade, even for leisure. Tourism was born. Middle-class families could visit seaside towns. Newspapers and mail traveled rapidly, spreading information at unprecedented speed. The world felt smaller, more connected. Time itself had to change. Before trains, every town set its clocks by the sun, but railways needed strict schedules to avoid collisions. This led to standardized time zones, a system still used around the world today. The train didn't just change travel, it changed how humans measure time. The impact went far beyond Britain. Railways spread across Europe, North America, India, and beyond. In the United States, trains helped open the vast western frontier. The Transcontinental Railroad, completed in 1869, connected the east and west coasts, turning months of dangerous travel into a journey of days. Railroads shaped nations. Towns grew where tracks were laid. Economies boomed along railway lines. Entire regions developed because trains made trade possible. Without railways, modern countries would look very different on the map. But trains were also powerful tools of industry and war. They transported soldiers, weapons, and supplies quickly across great distances. During conflicts in the 1800s and early 1900s, control of rail lines could decide the outcome of battles. The same invention that carried families on holiday also carried armies to war. Despite their benefits, early trains were not perfect. They were noisy, smoky, and sometimes dangerous. Accidents happened. Steam engines required constant fuel and water. Yet innovation never stopped. By the late 1800s, rail networks covered continents. Steel tracks replaced iron. More powerful engines pulled longer trains. Luxury passenger cars offered comfort unimaginable just decades earlier. All of this began because industries needed a better way to move heavy goods. The train was invented to solve a problem of weight and distance. But in solving that problem, it rewrote the rules of civilization. It changed where people lived. It changed what they ate. It changed how they worked. It even changed how they thought about the world. Places that once felt impossibly far away became reachable. Opportunities expanded. Ideas spread faster than ever before. The train was not just a machine. It was a bridge between cities, between cultures, between old ways of life and the modern age. And even today, the legacy of that 1800s invention lives on. Modern high-speed trains race at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Underground metros move millions of people daily. Freight trains still carry coal, food, cars, and countless goods across nations. The basic idea remains the same. Wheels on rails, guided along a path, moving people and cargo efficiently across distance. All because someone in the Industrial Revolution asked a simple question. How can we move more, faster, and farther than ever before? The answer came thundering down iron tracks in a cloud of steam as, the next time you see a train rushing past, remember, you're looking at the invention that shrank the world, powered the Industrial Revolution, built nations, and changed time itself. The train wasn't just the most important invention of the 1800s. It was the engine that pulled humanity into the modern age. And it all started with the dream of moving farther than horses could ever run.